Hotel brothers and sisters, Black Power as always, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my sisters, my in-laws, my father, my subscribers, and all of my viewers and supporters and family and brothers and sisters that are fighting for our liberation, for salvation in the Black nation. What I want to talk about today is this is going to be a 2-part to 4-part video series today, dealing with various issues. First, I want to talk about the Jack Johnson and Michael Jordan. The similarities, a lot of things that they had in common. Okay, you got Jack Johnson and Michael Jordan, both who are coons. Let's not get it, twisted, and let's put lay the cards where they're supposed to be laid at. They're both coon ass niggas. Both were exceptionally gifted in their craft. Mike was exceptionally gifted in basketball, can arguably be one of the best players in basketball that have ever played the game. However, pound for pound, I think LeBron James may bust his ass, and Kevin Durant. But if you're dealing with records, statistics and things of that nature, maybe Jordan may have the edge on them right now. But as far as talent, natural talent, I believe LeBron James is a pound for pound, considering his size, is the better athlete. Jack Johnson, on the other hand, had knocked a horse out by hitting a horse in the neck, knocking a horse down. So that lets you know the type of power that he had. And he was definitely, a knockout artist, without doubt or contradiction. He had a set of hands on him that were just ferocious. However, and Jack Johnson is arguably one of the best fighters ever as well, because of the fact that, he fought 30 and 40 rounds. Even Mike Tyson gives him credit. But these guys fight 12 rounds. They used to fight 15, now it's 12 rounds, opposed to Jack Johnson fighting 40 rounds. 40. And with almost damn near bare knuckles. No cups, no jock straps on, no cups or any of that. Low blows were unheard of in those days. So they really had to, they were using Bibles and all sorts of other gadgets to protect their nuts, dick, and balls, So, Jack Johnson, was vicious with his hands. And, they both admired luxury vehicles. Jordan, riding around in Maybachs and all that type of shit. A lot of foreign whips, and Jack Johnson riding around, riding around in the same type of vehicles. However, this is the result of after each Jack Johnson fight. This was the result. There were several lynchings after every Jack Johnson fight, based on the fact that he was knocking these crackers out, knocking their asses clean, slam the fuck out. But there were lynchings after every bout, And you know, the thing that the part that fucks me up is the fact that this nigga did not give a fuck. You know, how many brothers and sisters were lynched after every fight? Every time he fought, his focus was on two things. You know, and take a look at these photos. And I want you to look at these things clear and don't look at these as just some picture of back in the day. This is an actual 18-year-old boy. And if you look around, I'm just going to go off the subject for a second, at the faces of these goddamn devils. So you cannot tell me that the white man is not the motherfucking devil. When these are these crackers right now, those motherfuckers are the grandparents and great-grandparents of these crackers that are existing today. And you don't think that they saw their grandfather or great uncle in any of these pictures and take pride in that shit? Come on, I don't give a fuck how you devils, how you crackers try to play so sympathetic. Some of you try to sympathize with the fucking struggle. No, you don't know what struggle is. Think about this boy, Will Brown, 18 years old. All because of a white bitch made up something. You know, because that's what they would do after every Jack Johnson fight. You know, a brother could just be walking down the street on his own. And by Jack Johnson winning the fight, a white cave bitch would just say, "What are you looking at, nigger?" And it would lead to this. The same thing with Jordan. Every time he comes out with a new shoe, some of our babies have to lose their life. Some mothers sitting in a courtroom, crying, bawling, that will never recover from the loss of her baby. All because she wanted him to have something nice. A nice pair of Jordan sneakers. You know, and the rest of the slaves who don't have any begin to get jealous and develop hate in their heart. When Jordan could do the same thing as Stephon Marbury, you know, and sell his shoes for $20, $15 and $20, where all children can afford them. This young boy from Washington, D.C., lost his life, was a prominent little athlete, lost his life over a pair of Jordans. And every time Foot Locker, Foot Action, Shoe City comes out with the new Jordan, people are lined up, you know, spending the night outside trying to get a pair of fucking Jordans. You know, the white kids don't have to worry about this. You know, they buy more Jordans than the niggas. But they don't have this problem. Because if one cracker is killed over a pair of Jordans, they will change the laws. Michael Jordan will actually change the laws. But since it's niggas, he don't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. And this is the scene every year. Someone has to go into, one of our babies, our young men have to go into a casket behind the fact that they just wanted to wear a pair of this coon's tennis shoes. And you niggas need to stop buying his motherfucking shoes. Stop buying them. Bob Knight, owner of Nike, CEO of Nike Corporation, they know this shit goes on. Jordan knows this shit goes on. But do you ever hear him speak on it? Do you ever see him at the funeral service of one of these babies who lost their life for a pair of his shoes. Because he doesn't give a fuck about the black community. And this is all he think about is this white motherfucking ski bunny. This ice ape. This cave bitch. This is all he thinks about. And so, these niggas, man, are coons that participate in the genocide of the black community. Jack Johnson was the same way. This inflatable beach ball head motherfucker. All he worried about was these stinking white dogs. These slushy white motherfucking ice apes. Fucking these frozen dinner pussy white bitches. What in the fuck do you niggas see in a raw, uncooked motherfucking bitch? This is what they have in common. This is what these two goddamn coons, these jigaboo, shucking and jiving, jumping in the air for massa shit. Because if we were in physical chattel slavery, Jordan would be jumping over crab baskets, dunking basketballs, and Jack Johnson would be knocking his motherfucking brothers out to entertain masses right on the front porch. These self-centered, selfish, self-hating motherfucking niggas are responsible, largely and solely responsible for a lot of the murders that take place in the black community. Jack Johnson was the same way. Same motherfucking way. Only thing he wanted black was some shoes. Now let me get back to this motherfucking cracker, George Bush, right quick. This goddamn devil. There's some things I didn't mention to you all. This is Barbara Bush. This bitch looked just like the Quaker Oats motherfucking pilgrim on the oatmeal box. And she this bitch she was related to, let me get my notes right here right quick for you all. Yeah, her maiden name is Pierce, and she's the cousin of the 14th president, Franklin Pierce. See now, all these motherfucking Bushes are connected with somebody, and I'm going to show you the relationship that they have. Because you remember when I told you they were all these presidents have some type of blood tie. And that's the grandfather of Prescott Bush, who provided Hitler, financed Nazi Germany. Here he is with Adolf Hitler, and he financed Hitler's Nazis Germany and provided money for the Holocaust. Now this photo here is Prescott Bush standing there with the hat on. This was his slave. And what he done was lynch this slave As you can see on our ancestors' back and buttocks, Prescott Bush beat our ancestor with a cat of nine tails. That's like a whip with little small razors attached to the whip that would make deep incisions each time. And you can see on the buttocks and the back of our ancestors, this brother was beaten severely. And you can look at this brother and see that he was not a fucking joke. That this was the only way they could deal with him. Because he was a rebellious slave. And I take my hat off to that ancestor. But that Prescott Bush standing there with the hat on ended up lynching this brother. This is the Bush's dynasty. It starts, up from one Bush to the other. All of them are connected politically. All of them were ruthless motherfucking white supremacists. Every last one of them. And that's the family tree was enormous. Enormous. And these motherfuckers were ruthless. Jeb Bush, who was governor of Florida. And every Bush had some type of political tie. And like I said, they all were related. All of them have some type of relation. You see Obama's related to Bush. Marilyn Monroe, Princess Di, John Kerry, Abraham Lincoln, Donald Rumsfeld. They all are related to this goddamn beast. Let's get down to a little bit more of the meat and potatoes. Let's look at these two brothers here who were used. They weren't just sniping. You got to look at what took place between these two. John Muhammad, Lee Boyd Malvo. As you know, they executed John Muhammad as quickly as they could possibly execute him, based on the fact that he was being used. And they were not taking no chances for him to leak the information out. Lee Boyd Malvo is in Virginia. He's in a prison called Red Onion, which is a supermax facility in Central Virginia. Now, Skull and Bones is what the Bushes belong to. Yale, that was the secret society, the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, in which George Bush and his cousin John Kerry, were what they call bonesmen. And part of the ritual, they would have to get in the casket naked, masturbate in front of everybody in the casket naked, and tell one of their most inner secrets. Now, if you look at, let's go back. If you go back, it says 332, 322. That's the number of Skull and Bones. These were the individuals that were murdered as a result of the DC snipers. These 10 people that were murdered. Now, you're going to find this is the weapon that was used. A 223 Bushmaster. Get it? 223 Skull and Bones Bushmaster rifle. Who George Bush was president at the time. Now, these people that they murdered were not your everyday people. Linda Franklin, who was a CIA analyst, and she was on trial testifying against other high officials in cyber terrorism, and she was also a terror threat expert. It wasn't, no coincidence that she was shot in the head at the Home Depot in Virginia. Ken Bridges, who was the CEO of Mata, which is a organization that encourages blacks to spend and support black businesses, black-owned businesses, and help blacks promote black sufficiency, meaning help blacks get on their feet and create their own businesses. Ken Bridges. He was also fighting for reparations. Here he is at the 2002 reparations rally in Washington, D.C. So you think that these two murders were just coincidental? No. Ken Bridges was connected. Here he is with Felicia Rashad and some other black entrepreneurs. So these brothers were put on missions to murder certain people. Now, why isn't any of the people that were murdered unemployed, jobless, or destitute if it was random? You mean to tell me that you are up and locked up and murdered a black revolutionary and a white bitch that was testifying against the CIA on cyber terrorism and terror threats? No, I don't think so. So you got to understand how our people are being used. That's why John Muhammad was executed so quick. And so you got to understand what's going on. Marvin Bush, CEO of Securicom. Now, this was George Bush's brother. And that's security for the World Trade Center, United Airlines, Dulles International Airport. They provided security for 9/11. So you think that's a coincidence? That this happened and the Bushes were in charge of the security, securing these Twin Towers? Come on. Wake up, people. Now let's look at Brother Michael Johnson, who shot 5 motherfucking pigs in Texas. Who was a straight motherfucking revolutionary. And let me tell you how a lot of these motherfuckers are faking with this pro-black nationalism shit. Who you think blocked their face out of the picture, did not want to be seen with this warrior? And they supposed to be a warrior. Professor Griff. See, this is what I'm telling y'all. See, a lot of these motherfuckers, you see them on TV, they do these interviews, they bark real loud on social media, but when it really comes down to it, these motherfuckers are scared to death. I would have loved to have been in the photo with that brother. That is history. That brother's a martyr. He's going to go down as a freedom fighter. But see, when you're not a freedom fighter, you're going to be scared to death. And that's what Professor Griff did. He said that he didn't know the guy and had his picture blotted out. But you get on social media and get the yelling and barking and all. All that shit is just some motherfucking, that's entertainment. And now, even when this brother was a member of the Black Panther Party, this nigga, Quanell X, put this brother out. Oh, let me go back a little bit. Give me a second. Now, excuse the interruption. I had my loading was a little off. Yeah, but anyway, this brother was put out of the Black Panther Party. Quanell X said that he was too militant. And see, these niggas like that. See, Quanell X, who was supposedly had been the new chairman of the new Black Panther Party. See, these niggas, man, all they want is the spotlight. Be on Fox and play like they fighting for the community. But this nigga is a coon. He's nothing but a poison to the black community. And I'm quite sure y'all have heard about him and have seen this motherfucker, this instant pastry head motherfucker on Fox News. Now he's under the gun, for taking money from queens. Supposedly being representing black women in custody cases and criminal cases. And what he's done was rip off several women, taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from these sisters. And so he was given an ultimatum, by the People's New Black Panther Party. And I'm going to show you a clip of the warning that he was given by the People's New Black Panther Party.
My name is Brother Yakanan. I'm the national chairman of the People's New Black Panther Party. We're out here today talking about Brother Cornell, and first I feel that I need to address the community in Houston, Texas. I've been in this community for 4 years now working. I gave an oath to serve the public and serve the community. This was something that was very hard for us to do. This was not a decision that was easily made. This decision to come out against Cornell was made with very wise counsel. I want everybody to know that, first of all, what we did, we went to this brother as men are supposed to do and as brothers are supposed to do, and we asked this brother to do the right thing because we had some problems. The brother agreed to pay one sister after we had a conversation with him, and after that, the brother agreed to pay 5 more people. Cornell later on went back on his agreement to pay the people, and that's when we basically had no decision, no choice but to come out on the brother and let the public know what was going on with this brother. So this is directly to Cornell X. Us having conversations, us talking, that's over with now. We tried that. Brother, you have 2 options at this point. Either you can humble yourself or you can walk in your ego. If you're willing to humble yourself and you're willing to confess your sins before the people and come out here and say you did wrong and you're willing to pay these people their money back, I will stand right here with you. Just as I stand against you and oppose you, I will stand right here with you, brother, while you apologize, and I will stand with you and we will forgive you, brother, for doing the right thing, because all of us make mistakes and you can be redeemed. But brother, if you choose to walk in your ego and you choose to act like this is not happening or you act like this is going to go away, I'm letting you know right now, you're making a very bad decision, because we're going to follow this thing all the way through to the end. This is supposed to be about the liberation for our people. This is not supposed to be about us out here stealing and fulfilling a bad name for the Panther Party. What you did to this little sister that I just talked to a little while ago by telling her, promising her, you gonna get her grandfather out of jail. And you gave her a pinky square, brother. But to never to pick up the phone and answer the phone call again for these people, that was low down, that was dirty, and it's not gonna be tolerated.
Now, see, brothers and sisters, I had to let y'all see it for yourselves. And this the type of nigga, these the type of niggas, that make it fucked up for brothers like myself and other strong organizations and movements that need economic and financial support that make the people skeptical about fucking with anybody. When you got niggas like this motherfucking, this 35-piece Popeye chicken bucket eating motherfucking greasy, gelatin gloated motherfucking faggot, Quanell X, who sits around and sling his motherfucking credentials all in the black community, taking thousands out of the hood. You haven't taken that one dime from a motherfucking cracker. You niggas kill me with this shit, man. Because you are part of Fox, because you told the women that if they wanted media attention with Fox, it will cost them $3,500 off the top. So that means you're plugged in with Fox. And see, you motherfuckers, man, you niggas, man, that are going around, man, when the wrath, Garvey said, look for me in the whirlwind, that he will come back as a tornado or hurricane and come back as a terror. So all you motherfucking crackers and you goddamn niggas who are going around fucking over the black community, taking them, bleeding them for the little bit of money and resources that they have. But you get on TV with your tailor-made suits, you got 10, 11 children, you've been married 4 or 5 motherfucking times, you got a arsenal of motherfucking cars, living in a mansion, but yet you go down in the hood instead of breaking bread with the have-nots. You taking what little they have so you can wear tailor-made suits and be on Fox News pretending like you're fighting for the best interests of the black community. Nigga, you ain't shit. And these brothers, I hope that, by brother Quanell X, see, he's another nigga out the new Black Panther Party. See, after Dr. Khaled, was murdered, that new Black Panther shit, man, has failed. There hasn't been not one straight, thorough motherfucking leader since the passing and murder of Dr. Khaled Abdul Muhammad. At some point,